Cheryl, you voted for the real thing. Thank you so much. I got some points at least. Cheryl, you're going to go up the rankings with that one. Okay, let's see. This is the end. This is the end. Who wins? Who is the winner? I don't think it'll surprise anyone to hear that Isaac got first place. Who got the most likes? Let's see. Who got the most likes? Pat got 0, Tara 9, Cheryl 18, Austin 14, Izzy 14, Isaac 17. It's Isaac again. Oh, we're going. Okay, there's the scores. Right, I'm going to go away. In 5 minutes, we're going to be starting our real live stream. That was a game. If you want to join in a game next week, we'll be back, probably with a different game. We'll see. That'll be great. Okay, I'm going to move the camera back.
And I'm guessing we're on, Joey. Hi everyone, welcome back to Youth Group Live. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope that you are enjoying this as much as we are. I'm Katie.
And I'm Jo. Some people joined early and played some games with us. You can join us from 6 o'clock each week to play games.
Or just come on in at 6:30 and that's when we'll start our main program.
So we'd like to welcome you all tonight to Forbes Baptist Church Youth Group.
How cold is it today, Jo?
I know. It's good weather for marshmallows and hot chocolate, isn't it?
It is. Did you know that school goes back on Monday?
I know. I bet all you listeners are really thrilled about that.
I bet some of them are, and I bet some of them aren't.
Maybe the parents.
But guys, just remember that just because school goes back doesn't mean that youth group is going back as normal. We will continue meeting like this until we are told otherwise. So make sure you stay tuned in.
Yep, because it could be a while before we can meet again in person.
So we're going to start with a few updates on some things.
Firstly, we want to know if we have enough selfies at the moment for Cody to participate in our Just Dance challenge.
So for you guys, any of you who are tuning in for the first time, a few weeks ago we started a Just Dance challenge with some of our leaders. And Cody was too busy chasing the chickens and hurt his ankle and couldn't participate. So we got a ring in to do that. And then last week we had an exercise challenge, which Austin very graciously stepped in for me because I was carrying my own injuries from my own workout that morning.
Of course.
It was. So we had to get 20 selfies for Cody to get up and dance. So we're going to have a look at those now. There's the first.
And there's the second.
And there's the third.
And that's it.
Looks like Cody's safe for another week.
He was pretty confident this week, don't you think?
Well, he was that confident he didn't even show up. So I'm assuming he was knowing that there was going to be a very small amount of selfies sent in. So make sure that you send your selfies in for this week, for next week's challenge, and let's get Cody up here dancing.
I think so too. And I think another thing we need to look at is an update on what this toilet situation is with Dave.
Yeah, so that's another thing if you're tuning in for the first time. Dave, one of our leaders, has had some really big issues with the toilet. Cody shares with his poo stories and has a very personal moment with a cat, which we can't let him live down. But yeah, Dave, are you going to come and share how that toilet situation is going? Dave?
Dave?
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
How you doing? What are you guys up to?
Right. Well, we might have to go use a toilet if we're not careful.
So Dave, how's the toilet going?
What toilet?
Your toilet.
Haven't you had issues with the toilet?
Oh yeah, I used to have issues. Ron came and fixed them. Like, it was really good. He came and fixed it.
So how did he fix it?
I don't know. He just came along and spent a few hours work. He was there for a while. He worked
Yep.
pretty hard.
Yep.
And it's all good now. It's fixed.
Yep. Oh, good.
So you've broken any other toilets this week?
No. Was I meant to have?
Oh, we never know with you.
Oh, great.
You got any photos to share?
I got some photos, I think, somewhere. Let's see if we can get them up here on the screen. One of these screens. Here we go. Yep. See that beautiful job that Ron's done there? Look how clean it is. And there's one more photo, I think. There we go. Oh, look at it. No leaking toilet anymore. Pretty good.
It looks a lot better than it did last week.
Yes. We couldn't use it last week.
Oh, I'm pleased.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've worked it out that it is water, not anything else?
Well, it's not
around it?
leaking anymore.
Wonderful.
That is good. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. That's great. All right.
Well, we're nearly ready for tonight's challenge, but first we're going to hear Steph's story, a story about how God has worked in her life.
So I grew up not really knowing about God, never really hearing about Jesus. It was pretty just casual, like Christmas, we would, baby Jesus was a thing, but nothing else other than that. It was a running joke in my family that I was always the bossy one, like even when I was 2 years old I would boss people around, but as I grew older it was like I always wanted what I wanted, and I would always kind of do anything to get what I wanted, and it was all about me, really. So when I was in year 8, one of my friends invited me on a weekend church camp with her. I went not knowing at all what it was going to be. I just thought it was a weekend away from my family and it would be awesome. And when I went, I loved being with other people that were just happy and enjoyed being together. And for the first time I heard about God in a way that was really personal, and Jesus in a way that made a lot of sense to me, and I went back to school after this church camp, and I was in this weird limbo of being this person who had maybe like 3 weeks before kicked a girl out of our group because we didn't want her sitting with us, and then come back to school and I'm like, I think I'm a Christian, I love God, I don't know what to do with this, like how do you reconcile those two things and make them the same thing? So there was a real kind of battle, I think, in me of trying to figure out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, really. And it took a long time for me to consider God in everything that I did. You know, especially when I came home from that camp and said to my parents, like thought I'd break the news to my parents and said to them, you know, I became a Christian. They were like, what do you mean? Like you were baptized a Christian, you're a Christian, like I don't know what you're talking about. And not feeling that support at home. I found this refuge in the Christian group at school. It was cool to meet with other people and have that as my kind of church, I guess, in a way. And I think deciding that I wanted to live my life for God made it really difficult to come home and live with my family when I knew that we were thinking such different things and they did as well, and it was quite like a pressure and, you know, soft point for us in my relationship with my family. So yeah, I saw God as a safe place when home wasn't a safe place, and I saw God as a refuge when I didn't think that I wanted to be at home or be around my family. I found it really difficult, so I always found that God was leading me, that God was loving, that God, looking back now especially, like I can see that God had a plan for me all along and that He softened my parents' hearts, and yeah, He was doing more in me and through me than I thought that He was. Yeah, so I think in those situations it was really easy to feel overwhelmed and scared and unsure about what I was meant to be doing or if I was even doing the right thing, but I kept coming back to this simple part of scripture that is just so awesome and just so straightforward that it makes sense, and it just is Philippians 4:6. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving bring your requests to God.
Wow, it's so good to hear stories of God working in people's lives. Philippians 4 verse 6 really resonates with me. I might just read it again, and I might just start at verse 4. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God.
It was so easy to relate to Steph's story, isn't it? It's,
Yeah.
I know for me, there was a girl that I went to uni with, and she became a Christian at a young age, and she came from a non-Christian family as well. And it was really hard for her living with non-Christian as parents. And but the beauty was that she became part of a massive family after that, and it was God's family, so it was pretty cool.
We'd really love to hear stories of different people from the different people in our youth group too. If you'd like to share your story, then let us know, either by leaving a message or a chat, or sending us a message through Messenger.
So let us know and we can make arrangements. We can either do a recording or we'll see whether we can do anything live. So yeah, send us in a message and we'll see how we go.
Katie, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really hungry.
I'm starving.
I haven't had anything to eat since lunchtime.
Really? I noticed earlier on, just before we all started, there was some pizza arrived and the boys really hooked in, and they were real pigs. And I was a little bit worried actually, because Dave talked about pigs last week, and they jumped off a cliff. So I'm really worried that our boys, who made pigs of themselves, may just jump off the cliff. So yeah, if anyone sees any pigs running around, just be careful.
But I think we might. Let's cook.
Yeah.
You're so good at cooking.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I reckon you are. I'm not so good.
So what are you thinking?
maybe a smoothie tonight.
Ooh, who loves good smoothie?
Yeah,
I love
I
good
do.
smoothie. All right, so what
Yeah.
are we going to do?
Yeah, I've got a few things that I picked up from the supermarket before that I was
Oh.
going to use for tea, but
Oh, well, I've
Yeah.
got some of the kids' stuff in my bag too. Maybe we could.
yeah, we could put it together and make a
Okay.
smoothie and
All right,
all
great.
good.
Well, let's grab our stuff.
So what do you got, Katie?
I brought milk. You've always got to have milk.
Oh,
Milk's
yeah.
great for
Yep.
a smoothie. It's
Yep.
even in date, so that's
Phew.
really good.
Yeah.
We had a friend who used to come and visit us, and he used to check our milk to see whether it was ever in date. And you never really have to worry about milk at our house because we go through quite a lot.
Yeah,
So,
heard about that.
yeah. I have choc chip biscuits.
Yum.
I have strawberry, not raspberry, strawberry topping.
Oh, looks good.
Yep. Some sparkling water, pineapple and orange flavoured.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think that's Austin's favourite, that one.
Think we're going to make a fizz tonight.
We got coffee. That's Eli. Sorry, Eli. We're going to drink that on you. Noah's a big apple fan.
Okay.
He always eats
Got to keep it healthy.
grandma's
Yeah.
apples. And Lucky, last, is this is
Yum.
what Izzy has her pancakes with. Not on her pancakes, but she has more maple syrup than she has pancakes. So
Cool.
I pinched that. Thanks, Iz.
Right. Yeah, mine look. Yeah, mine's a bit different because it was for tea tonight. But
Oh.
bit of
Oh.
curry powder.
Yum.
Yum. Hey. Jalapenos.
Hot stuff.
Yum. Oh, what else? Apple cider vinegar. I've drunk some of it today, but
So they're
you know.
talking about, it's big
Yeah.
news about apple cider vinegar being a great weight loss agent. And if you can't see, Joey is looking amazing these
Oh, yeah,
days.
the COVID diet. Fish sauce. Oh, Thai.
Lucky I'm
I
not
know.
allergic to fish. I don't eat fish, but I don't mind a bit of fish sauce.
Marmite. Can't do a day without our Marmite.
You're in Australia, darling, not New
Oh.
Zealand anymore.
But it'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good.
It's a bit like that Promite. Really, why would you waste your time?
And barbecue sauce,
oh, well,
Katie.
That's Aussie all.
Yeah.
And
So
what are
we've,
we doing with this?
we've got some smoothie ingredients. I think we'll join them together. What do you reckon?
Great.
I think it would just
And
be
then
beautiful.
are we drinking it, or are we going to get anyone out there to drink it? Anyone like to come in and drink it for us?
I think they're full on pizza.
Okay, right. Well,
Right, looks like it's us.
we've got our blender.
Some utensils.
And our cups, just so you can see that we are not tricking you. And we have some buckets in case.
Just in case we spill some.
All right. Actually, this button matches my jumper. Now, if you haven't noticed, actually, let's just do a bit of a segue here. We have the kick jump. Am I still on the screen? Don't know. We have the kick jumpers on tonight, and yeah, you can still get them. Jump online, order them. They look great. They're nice and comfy. They're really warm. We've got a few members out in our audience, as in our children, who have got them on tonight. But yeah, they're nice and green.
They go up to 2XL, so fits
Awesome.
fits everyone.
Yep, righto. Let's go. Let's
Okay.
get this thing rocking.
Okay, Katie, you can load them up.
Right, I'm going to put my microphone
Yep.
down, and Joey's going to do all the talking.
Yep. Okay. Whose ingredients we're going to put in first? Powder, we want it spicy. Lots of curry powder. Yeah, I think that's enough. Jalapenos. Yeah, here's a spoon. Oh, it's Vegemite. Yum, Katie. I think we need heaps of those. We want it to have a kick, don't we? There we go. I bet you guys at home are all wishing you had some of this. Yum. Don't eat too many because they're bends.
Do I need a different spoon?
Yeah. Marmite. No, more than that. No, okay. Yep, that'll be enough. Yeah, yep, even better. Does this look tasty to you guys? Yum. Right, have you got everything of mine? Oh, apple cider vinegar. Oh, we need heaps of that.
Lose the weight.
Yep.
Okay, shed the kilos. Oh, sorry. Thanks for our handy hands down there.
Yum.
It actually smells really good.
Oh, yeah. Yum. I can't wait.
Let's whack these. Biscuits. Bit of coffee.
Yeah, bit of mocha there. Yum. Might keep us awake tonight.
Can I borrow your knife there, please?
Yep, apple time. We can core and everything.
We did wash our hands beforehand. Well, hang on, I'll just take the stem off.
Yep, yep. Don't want that getting stuck. Right, lots of maple syrup. Yum. Yeah, finish it off.
Sorry, Izzy.
Now for the strawberry topping. Yum. Who wants some? I bet you're all thinking you want some. Katie, you've just got to wait. Patience. Yum. Pineapple and orange sparkling water. And now to top it off with milk, just to make sure we both get just as much as each other and lots of it. Right. Okay, let's blend it up, Katie. Oh, it looks good. Looks chocolatey.
There'll be enough for everyone. There's going to be enough for everyone.
Yeah, I think we look about done there, Katie. Just a little bit more. Okay, let's pour some. Make sure it's even, because I don't want to have less than you. Yum.
Just so you can hear this. I think. Ooh.
This is looking pretty good, girls. I've got a mic. This is looking pretty good. How are you feeling about this? You hungry?
We have an extra cup.
That's lovely. I'm a diabetic.
Oh,
sorry,
Dave,
I
you're
can't
missing out.
And I'm lactose intolerant as well. You know what that'll do to me?
The smallest violin playing just for you, Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. So, what's the rules? What has to happen?
Are we going to race it, Katie? What do you reckon? Let's have a race.
So who's
I think I'm
drink
going to
it
have to take my
fastest?
scarf off
You
for
might.
this.
Yeah.
The buckets here are
take
ready.
mine off too.
In case you need. So if you do need to use them, they're right here. That smell. Oh, that's not very nice.
That's Dave. That doesn't smell
Yum.
nice. Our drink smells
Okay.
amazing.
I'll take those mics away so that you're not ruining church equipment. Okay, let's go. Okay. Oh, you're not going. Okay. So what's the rules? It's just whoever finishes first? Is that the go?
Without
Yeah.
vomiting.
Without vomiting.
Just
Okay.
count us
Okay, ready. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, go. How you going, Katie?
That's amazing.
It tastes like vomit. Now, I've seen you have 2 sips. Have you had any sips, Joe? You've had 1?
yeah.
Yep, good. It smells really bad. Good stuff.
Crying.
All right, so we can't go all night, so it'll be about whoever's has the most drunk in 30 seconds, okay? You got 20 seconds?
Nah, I'm done.
Yeah. Katie's done by the sound of it. Joe, you just have to drink underneath what shit. Well, 10 seconds. I think Joe's going to be the winner. She's going to be the winner. 5 seconds, no more? Okay, great job. Well done. Can everyone at home give these two a clap? Because I didn't do that. There's no way I would do that.
I really didn't think it was going to be that hard, Joe. I really didn't. I think too many jalapenos is probably a problem. So that was our challenge for tonight. Joey's still going. If you have any other suggestions of challenges that you might like us to do, please send them in. They can't get any more grosser than that. But now we are...
Yeah, now it's time for our Bible reading. Thanks, Georgie.
Tonight's Bible reading is from Mark 5, chapter 21 to 43. Jesus raises a dead girl and heals a sick woman. When Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders, named Jairus, came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her, so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors, and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once Jesus realized that the power had gone out of him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they had said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion, with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he had put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him, and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders to them to not let anyone know about this, and told them to give her something to eat. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks, Georgie, for doing that reading. Now, last week during the Bible talk, I had a bit of a challenge for everyone. You had to see who could accurately count the number of times that I said, "I don't know," in the Bible talk. Well, the person who counted correctly was Cheryl George. And she got a prize for doing this. The correct number was 11 times. And so Cheryl gets some chocolate. And I've actually already given it to her. You can there'll be a picture coming up in a moment that shows the picture where I was handing her the chocolate. Here it is. There we go. This is about 2 hours ago, handing her the chocolate. Now, there's going to be another challenge at the end of this talk. There's going to be another challenge. You have to listen out for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is until later in the talk. But there are prizes. Whether it's this chocolate or something else, there are prizes. Okay, so back to our Bible talk. This story that we just read is from Mark, and it's straight after the story we had last week. Last week was the story of the man who was demon-possessed. The first Bible talk was about how Jesus can forgive sin, and he's got the power over sickness. He's got the power to heal. Last week we saw that Jesus has power over demons and how he's compassionate on outcasts. Now Jesus has gone back over the lake again. So many times he goes back and forth across this Sea of Galilee. And he's met by a leader of a synagogue. Now, a synagogue is just a Jewish version of a church building. So it's a church building in Jesus' day where they met to worship God, where they met to learn about God. Now, this man Jairus is one of the leaders of this church building, and he comes to Jesus for help. His daughter is sick and dying. Now, how does Jairus know that he should come to Jesus? Because he's heard the stories. He's heard the stories like we've been learning about these last few weeks. He's heard the stories about how Jesus heals people. He knows the trouble that his daughter is in, and he knows that he needs help. He knows what Jesus can do. So Jesus agrees to go with this man, Jairus. Jesus is with him and is surrounded by a big crowd of people. And then we meet this lady, we don't know her name. She has been bleeding. Her bleeding will not stop. Bleeding at any time is inconvenient. It stains your clothes, it's hard to get out, it smells. But this woman has been bleeding for 12 years without ceasing. That would be an awful experience. She has suffered under the care of many doctors and they haven't got her better. She has in fact gotten worse. She also has heard about Jesus and she knows that this is her chance to get better. So like the paralysed man 2 weeks ago and like Jairus today, she has heard what Jesus can do. She knows that all she has to do is to touch his clothes and things will be better. So she does it. She goes up to him, she touches his clothes and she feels better immediately. She's freed from her suffering. And then Jesus says, "Who touched me? Who touched me?" And his disciples are walking with him going, "Jesus, there's a crowd of people here. Everyone's touching you. What do you mean, who touched me?" But Jesus knows that someone has touched him, deliberately touched his clothes and got healing from it. So he persists and the woman is found out. She comes out and tells what happened. She is afraid. Jesus knew that someone had deliberately touched him and he says to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you." This is going to come up on the slides just now. He says, "Go in peace and be free from your suffering." Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering. I really want you to notice what he says here. He says her faith has saved her. We're going to come back to this idea later, what he's talking about. Remember what he says. Now, while all this is happening, while they've stopped, Jairus gets a message. Your daughter has died. Leave Jesus alone. He can't do anything now. Don't bother him anymore. While she was alive, there was a chance that Jesus could do something, but now that she's dead, don't bother him. Leave him alone. Now Jesus hears this conversation. He says to him, "Do not be afraid, but believe." Now I want you to remember this. We're going to look at this verse again. Bring it up. This verse, he said to her, next one, Josh. The next verse, overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, but believe." So they get to the home and everyone is carrying on and crying. And that's a pretty weird thing to us because in our culture, crying in public is shameful. People don't cry in public, but not so in Jesus' time. They knew what a big deal death is and they were not afraid to show it. Jesus says to them, "Oh, don't worry, she's not dead. She's just asleep." But they laugh at him. Jesus goes into the girl's room. He takes only 3 of the disciples, Peter, James and John, and he takes the girl's parents, her mum and dad. He takes the girl by a hand and he says, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." She sits up and starts walking around. They were completely astonished, as you would be. He told them to give her something to eat. And the point of that is to show that she's not really a ghost. Like ghosts don't eat food, but he says, offer her some food. People need it. Now, what we see with Jesus here, we see him doing impossible things. He heals the woman. He heals this little girl. This woman had been seeing doctors for 12 years and they couldn't help her. And yet Jesus is doing the impossible. He brings a little girl back to life. No wonder there are crowds of people around him. If someone was doing that today, you would follow them around. You'd just want to see it. You'd want to get fixed yourself. I want you to notice about Jesus here who he cares for. He heals a child. Children usually aren't considered the most important and powerful people in the world. He heals a sick woman who has no money. Poor people, sick people are usually not considered the most important people in the world. This is who Jesus is. This is what he does. Now earlier I drew your attention to verse 34 and 36, where he told the woman, "Your faith has healed you." And also in verse 36 where he tells Jairus to believe. What do you think when you read those words from Jesus, where he says, "Your faith has healed you"? What do you think when you hear the word faith? When Jesus says to the sick woman, "Your faith has healed you," does that make you think that because she had a really, really big faith, that was the reason she got healed? That's what I start wondering when I read this story. The problem is that's kind of looking at it backwards. Our world sees faith as something like this. Here's a picture that I want you to look at. This is what our world sees. Someone with a blindfold on, stepping off a cliff. It's blind trust. That's what the world thinks of when we talk about faith. The problem is, that's not how the Bible sees it. That's not what the Bible means when it says faith. The Bible says that faith is trusting. You trust something that you have seen to be true. You trust something that has shown over time that it is trustworthy. In our passage, the sick woman trusted that Jesus would heal her. This isn't a blind trust. This trust was based on the fact that Jesus had been healing people before. After Jesus hears that his daughter has died, Jesus tells him to believe. And believing is related to faith. It means to trust. Jesus is telling Jairus to trust. What can Jairus base his trust on? He also has heard stories about Jesus healing. In fact, he has just witnessed Jesus healing this woman. He has a very good reason to trust. But is the reason the woman was healed because she trusted so much? Is that why she got healed? Because she had such a large amount of trust? Was it because she trusted a huge amount? I don't think so. It's not how big your faith is. It's what you put your faith in. It's not how much you trust. It is what you trust. I'm going to give you a little demonstration. You'll need to have a look at what I've got here on the floor. I'll move this out of the way. Here I have a can of Coke. Now, if I trust that this can of Coke, it's empty, if this can of Coke can hold me up, if I trust it really deeply that it will hold me up, do you think it's going to? Of course not. Let's see. No matter how much I trust, that Coke can is not going to hold me up. I'm too heavy. Doesn't hold me up. I'll show you again. If I trust, come on Coke can, hold me up. You can do it. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. Hold me up. Oh, it doesn't work. No matter what I do, a Coke can won't hold me up. But if I've got something solid to trust in, it doesn't matter what my trust is. It's the object that I'm trusting. This chair is not going to break. Although I don't want to stand up because I'm a bit afraid of heights. Let's see. Okay, there we go. That chair is not going to break. Even when I put my full weight on it, it doesn't break. That's what trust is like. It doesn't matter how strong your trust is. If the object is not worthy of your trust, it's not going to work. Jesus can save you. Put your trust in him. He is worth your trust. You can trust his power. You can trust his character. You can trust his authority. It's not the strength of your faith that matters. It's what you put your trust in. What do you trust? Now, I did say that there's going to be a challenge. Here is the challenge. This is going to be a trust challenge. Now, I used both my cans. I need another empty one. Can I have one of those empty cans over there? That challenge that I just did with the can, I want you to do it too. I want you to get a phone. I want you to record yourself doing this same challenge. Might even need two of them. Izzy, I might need another one in a minute. I want you to get a can. You need a stool as well. You got your phone. You're recording yourself. And I want you to say, it's not the size of your faith that matters. It's what you put your faith in. Yes, there will be prizes. Here I go. Okay. It's not the size of your faith that matters. It's what you put your faith in. Righto. Send those in. Record those of yourself doing those things. Send them into our Instagram page or on Facebook, or if you need any help sending it in, send us a message and we can help you loading it up. There's going to be prizes, but the question is, what will you put your trust in? Let's pray together. Thank you, Jesus, that you have the power to heal. Thank you that you cared for the people in our Bible. Thank you that you cared for those people enough to heal them. Thank you that you care for us. Please help us put our trust in you. Amen.
Thanks, Dave, for that message.
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. Remember to join our games at 6 o'clock next week.
And if you can't, don't forget that the main part of the program starts at 6:30. And don't forget to let us know if you are welcome, whether you would like to be part of sharing your story, sharing your testimony, and we would love to be able to be part of that and be part of actually bringing that to other people.
Yeah, and if you'd also like to send a video in on the trust challenge that Dave brought to us before, that'd be great too.
Yep, and don't forget to tell your friends about the live stream. And if there's any other ideas for challenges, Joe would love to do some more.
No, I think I've done my share now.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, God bless you all.
Bye.